Earlier this week, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan committed to bringing IBM's successful P-TECH model to 4 Maryland schools beginning next fall. And Johns Hopkins University, Kaiser Permanente, and IBM have already expressed interest in serving as partners. Carl, what exactly is a P-TECH school?
Well, I think some of you gentlemen probably have a better understanding of that than I do, but my understanding is that it's a private-public partnership between corporation and the school district, wherein the school district gets a school which is highly technologically they benefit from it, and the kids are getting a lot of job-related training and ready to go into the job market as they come out of it. Now, hopefully I haven't screwed that up, so you guys are more knowledgeable, jump on in. And
Yeah, well, a lot of it, they actually supply like mentors, whoever the corporate, whether it's IBM or Kaiser Permanente or whatever, supply mentors for these people. They actually let the educators know specifically what some job requirements are for certain jobs in their company.
now, who has control of the school? Is it still part of the public school district?
There's a steering committee
Yeah,
board.
I think
it's partners.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think
Yeah.
Ultimately the school district's going to have
Yes,
control.
they
They have
do.
to.
But the
They
idea
do.
They're
is
responsible.
They're responsible.
to offset some of the costs through
Yeah.
corporate partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
so they actually successfully implemented this up in New York.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
And in
In a
some
minority,
of
part
the, in
of
some
the-
of
it's
the
almost all
worst
minority.
parts of
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
yes.
And I'm absolutely amazed by what they've done up there. So by the 4th year of students being in the P-TECH program, 74% of the students were ready for college, compared to 39% statewide in New
Yeah,
York.
yeah.
So that right there is great. As soon as I saw on the news about this, I immediately wrote to Governor Hogan, and I said, hey, let's do what we can to get a P-TECH school in Hagerstown.
Yeah,
because it is
yeah.
something we desperately need.
Yes, and I noticed too that there was actually a first graduating class. Apparently they go longer stretches of time during the year. And what happened was there was a graduating class at that school in Brooklyn in 2015. And as it turned out, there were some who already went on. Well, some graduated apparently early. 3 of them ended up going to a 4-year college, and 3 of them ended up with jobs.
Yes.
Wow.
At IBM. See, they can either do it's like an AA program. You can go on to college, and some
Right.
did.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, they're required by the New York State Board of Regents or whatever, that they do have to fill all the requirements for your regular high school
Right.
things and everything. So, but apparently it's worked pretty well. There are 40 such schools around the country as of now, approximately 40, a number of locations. And they hope to have, by 2016, over 60 of these.
And Hagerstown's really an ideal location, because you've got federal centers in Frederick at Fort Detrick, you've got federal centers in Martinsburg, and you've got federal centers up in the Chambersburg area. And then, of course, you can take a bus from Hagerstown to D.C., or you can go down to Brunswick and take the train in.
So here's a question though, Ken.
Right.
And these, I know these are technology-related programs, but
Yes.
here's the reality. If I have a student entering 9th grade this year, by the time he or she graduates high school, the technology is not going to be what he learned in school. You're a technology
Yes.
professional. Is it your opinion that even though the technologies change, that the base of knowledge helps them with the next technologies, for lack of a better term?
Absolutely. I graduated college in 2006 with a degree with computer science from Mount St. Mary's. And the programming fundamentals I learned there, the language doesn't matter. What matters is the concepts. What matters is the understanding of how it works and how to properly implement a computer program, how to properly create a computer system. And that's the foundations that employers can build upon. Because once you enter the IT world, you never stop learning. You will always be attending training classes. You will always be getting new IT certifications, and the employers will pay for those because it's in their best interest to keep their workforce educated.
And what they're doing too, see, there are also internships are part of this program. So they actually get contemporaneous, like experience.
Right.
So they're actually trained when they go in the door, like say at IBM, these 3 young people that did, they were ready to take the job right up.
We've seen a lot of debating and fighting over funding for some of our more specialized schools. Where is the funding for this school going to come from? Do we know? Let's say Hagerstown is selected for it. Where is the funding for that?
It
school
is a
gonna come from?
public-private
It's a
partnership.
partnership.
So it would be
Well,
some local
yeah.
funding and some
Okay, so,
funding from
so
corporate
we're still going to
sponsors.
have to put some.
Oh,
out
yeah,
for-
we'll
yeah,
always
God,
have to
yes,
put some,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
local funding in.
It
But
will be a school, but it
I
will
consider it
help
a good
there.
investment.
Well, I would think so, and if you can get these people to help you out, you know, one of the big fans of this is our Congressman, John Delaney, you know, the public-private partnerships here, and if you can get them even to have a stake in the community in this
Right.
way, it's really important because, you know, over the years, you know, corporations has drifted to, we only serve our stockholders, our shareholders, and not really the stakeholders that everybody's involved
Do we
here.
know if anybody locally from the county commission or representatives in Annapolis, are they pushing the governor to send one our way, or?
Yeah, we don't, I
I-
don't know
I
that we
think
know
this is
that.
such a new
don't know
issue
that
that
yet?
they,
Okay.
they
Yeah, I
might
mean,
not
this
even have it on
literally
their
just
radar
came
yet.
out this week, but
Yeah, it
I
was
would
just a
be
couple
willing
days
to,
ago.
we've got some, and I know we complain about the county commission sometimes. Okay, I
now, who
complain
would do
about
that?
some of the
Who
county.
would do that?
But we've got, there are a couple in there that I think are very forward thinking, and if they haven't made the call already, my guess is they will let their
But-
interest
Well,
be known.
and something else to
you're
think
right.
about, though, too, is if
But
we
here-
have this constant
Go ahead.
supply of educated young professionals for IT,
Jobs coming in?
jobs are going to come in. And we lost 528 jobs this year between Radio Shack, Home Depot, and BB&T,
Right.
between layoffs and closures.
Well, yeah, but we need trained jobs. And good. The hard thing is going to be finding partners here.
Yeah. But
That will be
to
the
your
problem.
point, when you have these partnerships that include places like Johns Hopkins, like
Yeah.
Kaiser Permanente, like IBM, to get them to learn more about Washington County can, in my opinion,
Yes.
never be a bad thing for this
No,
community.
no, exactly.
So, I mean, first and foremost, that is the case. You know, secondly, from my perspective, I don't see how the student loses here because the student, you know, one of the things I remember from high school, my high school years, is trying to connect what I was learning in
Right.
school to what I was going to be doing in the business community. Now, when I graduated college, I was using punch cards
Right.
to input my programs into computers. So I will never complain about a user interface anymore. But my point is that I think that whole process is going to be beneficial
Yes.
as well.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
It's good for everybody if it works. And with the steering committees they have, well, there's a number of people on board. The educators are responsible for setting the curriculum.
Right.
But they've got input from the people who know what they want.
Yeah, and
know, one of the-
I would be happy
Yeah.
to provide my own input and help them
Well,
mold
yeah,
that program
yeah.
if they bring
You
it
know,
here.
one of the things that Dr. Wilcox said when he was first hired here as the superintendent of schools, he said, you know, we need more than the local corporation's money. We need their intellectual capital. But I'm going to take the last word on that. Next up on the flip side, something other than the rain and wind is blowing here in Washington County. Find out what the blowback is all about in 3 minutes. We'll be right back.